In terms of money, for example, it's going to come. If you have the knowledge, you have the chef skills, it's going to come. So don't rush it. I can put a nice plate of food. It's all beautiful. Yes, it's fantastic, but there's more to it.
Cooking is actually the fun part, I think, of a head chef.
I wish it would be just cooking. When people come with their CVs, I see, okay, but I want to talk to them. I want to have a conversation. I want to know who they are, because you can't teach personality.
Today's episode was brought to you with the support of our friends at Kyoto Restobar. From their izakaya dishes to the most delicious sushi in Jersey, Kyoto Restobar is the place you should have in mind for your next on-island Japanese experience. Whether you choose to dine in or order online, I promise that you won't be disappointed. And now, back to the episode.
V, welcome to Hospitality Insight.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure having you, man. And, I appreciate it, especially now during this crazy time of Christmas where turkeys are everywhere. Okay, let's begin like we usually do on this podcast, because I always find it fascinating, although some people feel like, my story is kind of boring. I'm not saying in your situation, but, people usually probably don't really appreciate, like their journey.
Yeah.
How did you get into cooking or hospitality overall?
I actually first was supposed to do IT. Actually, to be honest.
Is that what you studied?
Is that what I was studying?
Okay.
But I actually never really liked, databases and all of that. So then I wanted to go in, I said, okay, I want to go into cooking. But at the time I lived with my aunties and the public school was quite expensive. It was full, not expensive. And the private was expensive. So they told me it's not happening. So I carry on just doing IT. But when it was the time to go to uni, I said, I don't really want to do that. It's not like I like it, but not as a career,
Yeah, you didn't have a pure passion for
exactly
it, I guess,
that.
right?
I always wanted to cook. And one of my aunties didn't really like to cook. So she used to say, okay, just do whatever for you. So I started doing it. And the funny thing is I used to always give a name to my dishes. I do something, just mix this with that, whatever was in the cupboard. And then I decided, okay, I want to go somewhere. And my family was in Leeds in the north of England. So I went over there and I took an apprentice scheme with a company called Nichols. And from there, I started cooking. First I started as a kitchen porter, actually. I started and I hated washing up. But I said, okay, I have to do it, So then I went to college and that's how I started cooking. I remember the first day when they told me, okay, you're going to get that position. I cried because I really wanted to cook. I really wanted to cook. And yeah, it's always been there. And I wanted to challenge myself. So I wanted to go to high level, try to learn more. Even as a kitchen porter, I used to try to clean everything quick, go to the chefs. What can I do for you? Try to learn pastry. They had potatoes. I peeled the potatoes. I cleaned mussels because that's where I actually start learning everything. And I got all my tattoos, my kitchen tattoos. So that's how I start cooking, in the north of England, to be honest.
It's not, you don't see these too often now, these stories. I mean, I remember, and I'm not saying that I'm a great example, but in general, people that've been in the industry for a bit, like you, for example, and I'm not talking, it doesn't need to be like 100 years, obviously, started from the bottom up. I'm talking, like washing dishes, getting to the next KP jobs, which are maybe passing stocks, helping, with cresses, getting them sorted, and all these little jobs, that almost like lead into a commis chef position.
Exactly.
You don't really see these often now.
No, nowadays it's very fast. It's like life. Instagram, Tinder, is everything, flick of the wrist. The thing I say to my boys, everyone that works under me, with me, I tell them there is no position in the kitchen that I haven't done it. By the time I was 20, I think I started cooking 22. By the time I was 24, 25, turning 26, I was still a commie. I really wanted to make sure
you understand that position before you move
exactly. on. Exactly. I want to know. I just didn't want to rush because I was quite lucky. I had really great chefs that love what they do. They were there, being proper old-time chefs telling you off. But I knew that they wanted to teach me. They wanted to see me progress. So I never rushed. And I see nowadays that happens a lot. Everyone wants to be the Instagram chef, putting this nice crest. That happens a lot.
But then, like you've done cooking at a really high level. How was your beginning into cooking here on the island? How did you get in Jersey, basically?
Oh yeah, Jersey. I never knew Jersey. I didn't even know Jersey existed.
You're not the only one,
Yeah.
so
And I'm quite good at geography, but Jersey was just like
too small of a dot on the map to be recognized.
So I worked with Steve Smith, which was the head chef of Bohemia before Callum. He was my first Michelin head chef in the UK. So obviously I worked with him, and then after 2 years working with him, I said, okay, I want to try another restaurant. Still as a commie, I want to try another restaurant just to see how the chef does things. So I went, and then he decided to come over here, go offer a job at Bohemia. And actually back then I was in Portugal because I wanted to go back home. And I had Portugal, Australia. So I was looking at what should I do? And he called me and said, listen, I just got this job. I need a few more people with Michelin experience, especially because I knew him quite well. And I decided, okay, I'll come and help for 2 or 3 months. Then I came over, and I'll never forget, he took me on a nice ride, by the promenade. Sun was shining, lovely day. I was like, wow.
The perfect way to sell Jersey.
Exactly. He really sold me, sold Jersey to me. So I came, I worked every day on my break. I was having a break. So every day I used to just walk to the beach, because I'm from Luanda in Angola, which is by the beach. So I grew up in Lisbon. So all of this was familiar to me. And then everything was going fine. And I saw a girl there. It's always a girl, So I met a girl there, and of course we started talking, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay a bit more. And I've been around since, that's how I end up. And I loved Jersey, I left for a bit to London, I left because I wanted to try myself in London. But when I decided, okay, I really want to have kids and see the right place.
Settle, basically, in a place like
I had
Jersey.
enough of the party life. I did party a lot. I was a young chef,
Yeah.
In the UK, I partied a lot. But then when I wanted to settle, really starting to get into learning, not just the cooking, the other bits that come with being a chef, I thought Jersey would be a nice place to be. And yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, you mentioned about your progression, and it seems to be slow, which I think that's how a progression should be if you really want to do it properly.
Yeah.
Now, how much do you think in your career, school influenced you? Because did you do any cooking related school? Do you feel like that's still important today?
I think it's 100% important. Every person that I have trained that came from not any kitchen, they started the KP, or I had another one which was a fisherman. I always send them to Highlands, because it's good to know the theory behind it, and the doctrine you get at school is very good. You need to go there, you do your practice, you study, and if you really want to learn, you go home, you do your research. School really taught me how to be like a student, and that's how you have to be. Don't rush, do your research, do your studying. I think it's really important, and people shouldn't underestimate,
Yeah, because that, you have almost, because when I asked this question on the podcast, it's almost like I wouldn't say half, because I feel like more people are intended, do the school, because I feel it's still got a good part in it. You're not going to probably learn the practice part of it, because that's almost to the point that it cannot be followed in certain kitchens. Yeah. But at least you're going to know what's the proper way, and what are the things that you almost need to avoid in order to almost sometimes kill people. It's as crazy as it sounds, allergies, all the cleaning part, all that. I think that's part that you need to almost study it a bit to understand it.
Because this you don't learn in kitchens, It depends where you're working.
True.
Okay. because but at school you will, there's no choice. You will learn, and a lot of chefs I see that go through, they don't know the right temperature, the 8 degrees, the 63 degrees. They don't know that, even just.
And those are like very pure basics in school,
these
right?
are exactly your basics, so you don't know to probe, how to check probe, or is it actually working?
In ice water or in boiling water.
Water. So this, if you don't do the research yourself, or you don't have a mentor that is there telling you, listen, I'm doing this, let me show you, you're never going to learn until you have to do it. You have HO going there in the kitchen. Oh, how do you prove that? And you're, I don't know. So I agree. School, it is still important. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it taught me quite a bit, as I said, not in terms of, because I was working at Olmer at the time when I was doing the school. So in terms of cooking, it felt sometimes, and I was a bit cocky, when you work in a Michelin star place, you feel like, you know everything.
I know everything.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't that the knowledge wasn't there. Sometimes, you could get 10% and still be valuable. But because of the being on this high pedestal, thinking that I know everything, it just that wasn't the purpose, learning specific the cooking. But I feel like the part that we were talking about, all these admin almost, I feel like that helped quite a bit. And for people that want to kind of like move really fast into this industry, I feel like that's also the downside, because you're not going to go through the processes properly. And that is when, you get all these issues, with people not being prepared to run kitchens properly.
Yep.
And
There's people, especially nowadays, where, margins always been very small in cooking.
True.
And pleasing people. So you really have to understand, okay, what's the best I can do? If you don't understand about temperatures, which is basic, and most of your food you put in the fridge and it goes off after 1-2 days, there's wastage. So
True.
where you're gonna get the money from the guests? You cannot. So all of these help to know. And when you go, I can put a nice plate of food. It's all beautiful. Yes, it's fantastic, but there's more to it.
No, it's absolutely cooking. As we were actually talking just before we turn on the podcast, cooking is actually the fun part, I think, of a head chef.
I wish it would be just cooking.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
Because the cooking is the easiest part. Just because you know the whole menu, it doesn't mean that you are ready to be a head chef, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's so much more about it. Yeah, it's the costing part. It's managing people. It's managing the relationship between the owner and you and your team.
Yeah.
It's dealing with suppliers. It's dealing with pretty much everything. It's like running your own business, right?
It's exactly that. It's running your own business, but it becomes worse in the sense that challenging, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it's someone else's money.
Yeah.
So it's someone else's life, because if you do everything wrong, okay, someone needs to get sacked. At the end of the day, someone can die.
Yeah.
So this is what you're juggling. So
every single day. No, absolutely. And I work just for a bit as a head chef, and to a degree, you don't think about it, because if you would go crazy if you think that with every single dish that you get out, you could literally kill someone. You would go nuts.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, I'm sure that there is always like so much thinking and responsibility, that you need to kind of like.
Yeah, I actually talk about this. I just remembered one of the last parties we had. We just sent a dish, scallops, obviously mollusk.
Yeah.
And the manager say, "Is any crustacean in there?" Because she's allergic. It's like, no, calm down. It's no, because you have to know. You have to know.
Yeah. The separation in between.
Every little thing, because sometimes, there's no gluten, but the sauce you put a little bit of flour just to thicken up. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
You need to really take it like right from the beginning, right? When you need to think that process through till it gets into the plate. Exactly. And I'm talking not just the main components, right? Because that's the easy part.
Yeah, because that's the thing. People focus on that one. How about the little piece you put at the little twill? What flour did you use?
Or maybe you deep fry something, like like some sort of like leaves that you got them into some sort of flour,
Yeah.
and this is it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
So it needs to be thought through like from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that, like what are your challenges? Now, we kind of know like, the cooking is the fun part, but the challenges that you've got at this point at Savoy, what are these?
I think, this is something I've discussed with a lot of people, and I heard is, the skills that people have, because people will, it's the skills in the
Or
love.
the lack of skills.
Yeah, exactly. The skills that people don't have, if I want to be brutally honest, because people come to you and either is a soup, a sauce, a Caesar dressing, which are just basics that my wife would do at home, mayonnaise, a lot of chefs don't know how to make mayo, which...
They think it comes from the jar.
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, that's true. So I think my biggest problem, what I see is exactly that, is people's skills and people's, can-do attitude, that love for it. It's not good enough just to say, that's okay. No, okay is not good. You have to do the best of your ability. And if you don't know, ask. Because to be shy, to hide, if I'm going to tell, they're going to think I don't know. Just ask. Because somebody there will have the knowledge, or do your research. Okay, this is what I have to do. How can I do that? I still study. So that for me is my biggest challenges.
Yeah, but that comes with passion, because I remember. So just an example for it. When I left cooking, I went to work for an IT company here in Jersey, and they were happy with me. And I done the best of my abilities, but I never really pushed myself, that extra mile, as they say. I never really done anything at home to improve on something, apart from the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I was okay at work. I mean, I done my best, to make sure that I keep as high standards as I could. But, doing that extra mile at home, or doing your, as you said, your research, or trying your best, to improve, even when you're not at work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I never really did that. So I'm like, I got to a point where I'm like, guys, I know you are happy with me, but I'm also self-aware that I could do more doing something else. And that's when I started with the marketing, because I enjoy it a bit more. But then, again, it comes, I think, with passion. You need to be passionate to do that extra.
Passion is everything. They do say, talent is 1%. Everything else. I have people that tell me, I said, listen, I know you're working hard, but you need to be a little bit faster. And then they turn to me and say, oh, but that's my speed. So for me as a head chef, I'm like, listen, as a commie, I was moving a little bit faster than that, Because I try to, for example, if I'm going to develop a dish, I'll do it myself first. I see, okay.
Prove that it can be done.
It can be done. I understand the problems that can arise from there, because then I have an answer. But then when I give it to people, and people, oh, it's okay. It's exactly the passion. Passion is not there, because everyone wants the money. It's really sad. We all need the money. I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We all need the money. But I think since you're doing it, do it with all your love. Do it everything. If not, just change it.
Yeah, do something else. Yeah, no, I agree. But then, considering all these challenges, with staff, lack of skills sometimes, lack of interest, lack of love for the job, how do you keep consistency? Do you have a process, or how do you do it? Because it must be challenging, I guess, when you know that, those people are there, just to make sure that they are out at a certain time, and probably they don't put that love and passion into what they do. And I'm not saying all of them, because it's probably unfair to judge now your staff. I'm talking in particular. In general. In general, sorry, not in particular. I'm talking in general. How do you do with the consistency?
I think, I would say, obviously, because that's number one. That has to be number one. And mainly because of my training, and my life. My mom is a teacher. My dad was a soldier. So that already, gives you there on the line. And then most of my career was in Michelin. So for me, what I try to do, I have recipes all the time. Once you develop a recipe, you just go with people, you show them, you do with them so that they understand exactly this is what you want. And I know they, especially at my place, some of them tell me I have OCD, because I want things to be specific, exactly like that.
Especially after that, having that Michelin star background, it's hard to get out of it.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I said, sometimes I miss it. I miss that because obviously you work with likewise people. So that really
the connection and everything is
everyone
different.
rowing the same way, But I think having someone with that experience in a place like the Savoy, which not trying to get any accolades, any Michelin stars, it's good for the guests because the background work is there. This puree has to be perfect. It can't just be posh.
Yeah.
So for me, what I try to do, I develop my recipes, obviously throughout the years I got recipe from this and this experience for that. So sometimes you actually fuse recipes,
I was going to say, because it must be interesting because you are from Angola, right?
Yes.
So you lived in Portugal.
Yeah.
And you've got a Romanian wife.
Yeah,
and you now live in Jersey.
Exactly.
So it must be a mixture, right?
It's great for me. I had Romanian dish on the menu, sarmale.
Yeah.
So, but obviously when I think, okay, I'm going to put sarmale on my menu. How can I present that to the English public?
Yeah.
Okay. How can I sell that to my team? Because if I tell my team, okay, we're going to do some stuffed cabbage with rice and minced meat.
Yeah.
What? We can't put that, especially my
So
British.
it's got to be refined to the point that appeals to your customers and the team.
Yeah, so they have to be, okay, what is that? So you need to go and teach them what we're gonna do with the cabbage. Okay, we can still do a proper sarmale, but okay, let's put a fermented cabbage puree. Let's have with the pork belly. So then you put the flavors there, but just there you have it. When I use a lot of passion fruit, a lot of pomegranate, which is what I grew up with. I use cod, obviously, gets my Portuguese heritage.
Bacalhau.
Beans, bacalhau, exactly. Exactly.
It.
So I try to do that a lot because my food is no, the technique is my French technique, the classics, but my food is a mix match. As nowadays we even have sushi in there. So I'm never afraid of experimenting. If it doesn't work out, okay, it didn't work out. Let's just move out of the way. This dish that even I look now, I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? So,
but you've got to try, right? Because that's experimenting. It's the key to getting it right.
To get it right.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. I encourage even my chefs. I say, listen, it's not busy. Tomorrow come, bring an idea, try something out. Then we can get there, I put a cake from one of the commies, on afternoon tea. You could see the beaming smile when he saw it for the first time.
That's amazing.
I said, that feeling? And like, yeah, that's a great feeling, no? So yeah, we always try out new things, why not?
Yeah, but then do you have, because now being engaged with so many cuisines almost, do you have a favorite one? I know you mentioned that, the style of cooking, it's French because that's kind of like the guideline.
Yeah.
But then do you have a specific cuisine that you like?
If I had to live with one cuisine, I would say would be Italian. I love Italian cuisine. You can get one pasta and you can do millions of it. Italian cuisine is really, nothing against my Portuguese cuisine.
Oh no, absolutely. But
I love it. But if I would have to stick with one.
I absolutely love Italian, and I do like some Romanian food, but I do love Italian. It's something also romantic about it. Also the way they present it, they know how to sell their food. I like that.
Yes,
there's something powerful about that. And they are focused on simple ingredients.
Yep.
Simple ingredients, at best quality they can be. Maybe a bit of extra virgin olive oil with something, even with bread. Who thought that, that's a thing? Or pasta aglio olio, it's just pasta and it's crazy, right? And it works.
A whole year. I lived with an Italian guy. So it was a house with me from Angola, an Hungarian guy. So he would make his goulash every month, outside. A German girl, which was bartender, and then an Italian guy. Every night, we used to have beers and garlic pasta and a bit of oil. That was it. What a life.
That's
What a
crazy,
life.
right? You
That's
never,
it.
yeah.
That's it. So for me, I would stick with Italian.
Now, I know you also do sushi. And, for people that probably don't know, it feel like, okay, so we're talking about Portuguese food, we're talking about Italian, we're talking about all sorts.
There's a lot going on.
But then, where is the Japanese food coming from? How did you end up doing that?
So I like sushi. I love sushi. I lived in London, so all the time I was spending all my money eating sushi, We decided to do it because there's a friend of mine, a chef, which he does sushi.
He's got the skills.
He's a sushi chef. He worked at Bento. He was the head chef at Shinzo. So he has the skills. So when Shinzo closed, I said to him, listen, because I needed a senior member of staff. I said, come along here, and we can see what we can do. So obviously, as soon as he joined, I said, why not put sushi on the menu? Let's just get sushi on the menu and see what, steak and sushi. That was the first idea,
Yeah, because I know you started doing it almost like events, let's say weekends.
Exactly.
Or
it was
once a month. I think it kind of started like that,
just
right?
to get people, just to see, just experimenting literally. Because the idea was, okay, I have starters, but if people can come and have starter sushi, and then they can have either a nice tomahawk or they have the main courses from the a la carte. And, it kicked in, people were having it. And then we said, listen, why not open Yasa, like a takeaway? Because he's a good chef. So I'm trying to utilize his skills rather than just say, okay, let's just do the a la carte, whatever it is. So, and he came like that. He's happy, obviously we would like to be busier like any other business.
Yeah.
But
you guys are diversifying. The business is happy as well in that perspective.
If the boss is happy, we're not spending too much. It's all good, We have our ups and downs, which is normal. But it came about like that. I wanted to utilize those skills in there. That's what you have. Get it in. People love you. You have a few people that come all the time. Some people, even older generation. Okay, let's give it a try.
And if the product is right, they'll like it hopefully and come back.
Because this is the thing, we discussed when, because obviously sushi is a very short shelf life. So what I said to him is, listen, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Let's get the best tuna we can, the best salmon we can. If we waste, we waste it, but we can't sell. Because I know how I want my sushi. I want nice, fresh, all of this. I don't want it all old salmon. So yeah, we try to use the freshest we can. And it's been working for now. It's been working.
So are you doing both now? Because I know you started doing takeaway. Is that right? Yeah, you do takeaway
exactly.
and a combination.
Yes. So,
takeaway and in the restaurant.
Yeah. So like we start from every Wednesday to Sunday, we do takeaway.
Oh, okay.
So it gives him 2 days. He has to have a day off. He's still human. And then there's another day he comes in, gets his prep, gets stuff like that. And then from Wednesday to Sunday in the evening, gets to do it. That's another challenge because even I had to do a delivery right at the beginning. I was like, oh, what do I do? But it was interesting, to be honest. It's quite interesting. And I'm learning, I do sushi at home, but it's not the same skills as
I tried at home as well, but getting the rice right, it's a skill. Knowing how much rice, like the ratio between rice and the actual filling or whatever you're using to wrap it up with.
It tells me off. Put that many fingers, come on, you can't put that much water. Okay, chef, sorry. So yeah, it's true.
It seems like you guys, trying to explore, different kind of like variations of or cuisines or something like that. It doesn't look like you closing any soon. Because there was these all these.
It's true. It was. We had the application. Since it was okay, it's not gonna happen. We decided, okay, let's just carry on as usual.
invested a bit, I think, in
quite a lot.
refurbishing.
That's the thing, he invested quite a lot of money, making the place more welcoming, even the things that nobody sees, just even the internet connection, the whole hotel restaurant, that was invested on. Even now, we just had a photo shoot, for refresh the hotel, new pictures, all of that. So we're not closing. I'm very happy because I live just around the corner and I love my job, so we're not closing.
So the story goes on, yeah.
Yeah, we're still there, thankfully.
What are you worried that, well, to be fair, it's, worry is probably not the right word, because when a chef like you, with the skills that you've got, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem finding a job, but it's just more probably going through that new beginning, I guess. Probably that's not something that some people are looking to go through. Were you kind of like worried that, this is a bit uncertain, are we closing, are we staying, what was going on?
At the beginning, when obviously you had the conversation with us, I was like, okay, what I'm going to do, how is it going to be, But because he always had, a communication there with me, I never worried, because I always wanted to know so I can pass it on to my team.
I think it's fair. It's fair.
And Roberto always been very open. Like from day one, when he decided we're going to do that, I wouldn't say I was worried, because
probably you had the information correctly right from him
all the time.
Before, people, whatever they were talking, they probably didn't know what it's about.
For the newspaper, whatever. So
he was quite transparent with you, yeah?
Very, from day one, he got all of us into our breakfast room, which is the biggest room, and spoke to us, everything, This is the project, this is what I want to do. Have a look, So this is one of the reasons why I'm still there. Because of that, we can talk as people, not just sometimes, it's impossible for you to speak with the boss. You have to maintain distance. In some places I work was like that. So we didn't, I wouldn't say I was worried, I was anxious sometimes, of course, because what is actually happening.
Because you are responsible of other people below you, right?
Exactly, because of that, because I need to tell people what's happening, and especially my team. When you say it's a family, I like to treat everyone like, my boys and my girls is there. So I want to make sure they are all relaxed, and that is an information that they needed to know, So I wouldn't say I was worried, to be honest. Yeah.
But, have you ever, how long you've been working, like from 22 to, so how long?
5 years now I've been there.
Altogether 5 years there.
Yeah.
And then in hospitality overall?
Hospitality 15, I think.
Oh wow, you've got quite a few years already.
15, so yeah.
But have you ever considered, like, what, let's try doing something else, especially because the way I see it, when you get married, it's another event in life. When you get a child, it's another event in life. And this can influence your decisions in a way or another.
100%.
Have you ever considered, like, I want to change this because I feel like by doing other job, I'll have more time with my family. I'll be able to do other things. Have you ever considered, leaving the industry for something else? And I'm not talking necessarily Savoy. Yeah. In general, completely starting from scratch.
I did. I would, if I would be like, oh, no, I did. And I think everybody does it at a certain time, I did, especially because I wanted to spend as much time with my family, because I would say I didn't have that. I know how it feels not to have it. And I don't want my kids to not see dad, I want my wife to see me, I said, yes, I do. So I want to be there. That's one of the reasons why I thought, okay, I had enough. There was a time I was really, okay, what is in there for me? But I'm still here.
Yeah, because it gets challenging. That's why I'm saying, sometimes you need to almost like make a step back for the people you love, right? Because although you are passionate and, and I can tell that you love what you're doing, and in a way, that's how I kind of left the industry, because it got really complicated spending time with my wife, like she being in an accountant. I'm like, okay, we're moving into the direction where I only gonna meet her like 11 in the evening.
Yeah.
And probably a bit in the morning, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I was almost like afraid that, we're going on a different, separate ways.
That happens, most of my relationships, before I actually got married, most of my relationships broke because, not because we, we are rude to each other, it's literally because I was in hospitality and they were either marketing, PR, one was a scientist. So they were doing a different life. One of my girlfriends, back in the day, she could work from home. So she's there, oh, you're never here. But I was just, grafting, getting to know what to do in kitchen. So I needed to be there doing those 80 hours, so you wouldn't see. And my wife, obviously, because she did hospitality.
I was going to say, she must understand probably better what you're going through.
She knows, but she still tells me, listen, I don't see you. Last Friday, for example, I literally do the school run, came home, there you have it. I gotta go. I have a table of 85. And for me, that is quite painful because your kids then, Dad, don't go. You see your wife and you close the door, they want to give you a hug. You don't want to go to work because of that little bit, but of course you have to go, not just because of love, yes, because of your passion, but you still need to bring the bread home.
Yeah, you're the head of the family, right?
That's it, and I'm very traditional. I'm a traditional man, so I need to provide for my family no matter what. If I'm not a head chef, I'll be, anything, I'll do anything. So, but there was a time I thought, what can I do so I can spend more time there? But with the life my wife has, if I have a 9 to 5, it's not flexible to get the kids either. So everything has to then surround the kids, once you have kids and the wife, so everything goes around them. Yeah.
But then, there's something that I actually think about it myself. And I sometimes ask chefs, especially when the conversation goes into, having children or have already children. Would you ever recommend, to your children to get into hospitality? I think about that myself sometimes. I left. And then what if they want to get into it and they kind of ask me for an honest advice? What would I say? And it's a challenging one. How do you see this?
Exactly the same way. Because if I think, okay, be the one that loves it, you get in there. But the reality that comes with that, you have to be first really strong. You need to understand that you're going to be very lonely at the beginning, because you will. Because although you have a lot of mates there, once you come out there from the kitchen, you have a beer and all of this, you go home alone,
It's true.
You're there. I spent loads of nights talking to myself. I actually think I was depressed at the time, So for me to tell my kid, go do it, would have to have a length conversation,
To be in almost like, to see him that he's in 100%, then probably would support him, right?
More than anything, I would tell him, listen, if that's what you want to do, spend the summer, do the right way. Go there and then you see if this is exactly for you. You have nothing to lose. You have 14, 15 in the summer, go study, but go there and you see if you love it, 100% yes. You have years of knowledge in the back of my head. But if, like in anything, if he tells me I want to be in a rock band, I'm going to tell him, go,
I'm sure that has its challenges,
Listen, my kid told me he wants to be a astronaut bus driver. I said, fantastic.
That's even more complicated than being a chef.
Fantastic, go for it. That's how we went to the school, they had the school day where they needed to be something. And that day was even worse because he had a doctor, doctor uniform, and then he wanted to be free profession. So it's okay, dream whatever you want. I'll be there. I'll always give him, and her my honest opinion, you know. But it is challenge being hospitality. You know, it is challenge doing a job. You know, obviously hospitality is, you know, your day with your split shifts and all of that.
Lots of hours, everything.
But it has changed.
It has changed in hours wise, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, weekends are still there. You got to be there. There's no question about it.
You're going to miss the important dates for society. You know, your Valentine's, you're there. Christmas, you're there. And these are the times where you feel the most. You know, because you know, Christmas Day, especially me from Portugal, we celebrate 24th to 25th. So
the same in Romania.
You know,
it's very religious.
Exactly.
And it's got big meaningful for the family.
Exactly. So for me, I want to be there. You know, even yesterday, I think we celebrated San Nicolau.
Yes, yeah.
So I wanna be there on this Valentine's Day. I wanna take my wife for a meal, but I have to be cooking for someone else's wife. It is the reality, because I want to make sure it's special for them. So I want to be there. So it has changed, but you can't run away from certain things.
How do you see the difference from when you started? How do you see hospitality from, like, I'm talking almost like 15 years ago when you started to now, in terms of like the chef life? Because we talk about changing in better, and I genuinely feel like it's changing better, because I talk to a few chefs, and they'll be like, what, certain things didn't change. Obviously weekends you need to be there, as you mentioned, Christmas, maybe New Year in certain situation and so on, but certain parts definitely changing better.
Listen, just in my case, 15 years ago was much harder, especially just the way you get talked to. The idea of your mental health was not important. Go there, work, I don't care how you feel. Just the fact that nowadays, most chefs that went through this don't want to do that. It's already a step ahead. Like, how are you? Literally wanting to know how you are, wanting to know how's your family, trying to get you away from the kitchen, go home, I'll do it. Even the hours, the hours have changed a lot. When you used to do your 60s, 70s, I don't do that anymore. Sometimes as a head chef, I did 39 hours, which it's almost impossible, It changed for the better, to be honest. I would say so.
Yeah. How would you attract, more youngster, or what would be actually your advice, for someone? I mean, you kind of mentioned it, what would you do if, let's say your let's say son, daughter, would decide to get into the industry. But for someone that's just about to get into it now, and is about thinking, I want to go through the school, I want to do something, whatever, how do I start? What would be your advice for someone that wants to get into the industry? Which are not many people, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's true. For a young person, literally, because you don't have that pressure of trying to show nothing, I'll tell them, listen, get in there, get your notebook all the time. It's exactly what I learned. Just put your head down, don't talk much, lower your ego, okay? And just suck it. Write everything, do your research, be humble, and truly learn. Do not rush. Do not rush. And I think that's just the best way to learn. Know exactly where you're going, because it can be amazing, with all the chefs there, all the, some kitchens have music nowadays, mine is one of them, but I would say is just be humble. You can, in terms of money, for example, it's going to come. If you have the knowledge, you have the chef skills, it's going to come. So don't rush it, just go and literally learn. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah. I thought we quite a few chefs on the podcast here, and maybe even offline of the podcast. And when they hire, they say, I want someone with the right attitude. I don't really care if they know how to do foams and gels and whatever. I don't care if they know what to, the job itself. I want the right attitude. Is this based on what you hiring, or what's your process?
100%. There is no, when people come with their CVs, I see, okay, but I want to talk to them. I want to have a conversation. I want to know who they are. Because you can't teach personality. I can't teach you how you should be if you're going to work as, I can say I'm a team worker. Yeah, it's okay to write on a CV, I can teach you everything I want you to do on the menu, but I always hire out of personality, what I think will fit in my kitchen. Have I made mistakes? Yes, of course I have. You will never know people 100%.
Yeah.
But most of my people, the guys that work with me, has a certain ethos that I want them to be a certain way, because it has to be, especially nowadays, you have to get the right people. That's why I prefer to train my own people, because then there's some sort of gratitude both ways, because they're working hard, you passing them knowledge, they know you're teaching them something, but they always have. I see guys that work with me. Even recently, one guy, he's now a bartender. He left, but he saw me, he ran across the street. I was with my family and he hugged me. For me, that's nice. You gave something to someone and he had the exactly right personality, and that's what I would say is the key. Because everybody can be anything. I can say I can do podcasts, can't I?
Well, I'm sure you can. I mean, it's not like I never knew how to do any of this, and I'm still learning.
That's the thing, So you had the right attitude, okay,
Yeah.
this is why I'm going to get it. I'm going to learn my thing. And that's it. That's exactly what I say, the right attitude is 100%.
No, I totally agree, and it's hard. I mean, I'm not sure if you watch or listen to one of the podcasts with Emma Pressig, like one of the chefs that left Jersey. She left Jersey to work Le Manoir Quatre Saisons. Yeah. And she's a pastry chef there, part of a team of another 14 pastry chefs.
Yeah.
And the main kitchen has like 50 chefs or something. It's something that's out of this
different
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when I saw, the fire in her eyes, the attitude, I'm like, girl, you're going to do absolutely amazing in this life, whatever you're going to choose.
Yeah.
I mean, girl, I'll be honest, I'm just kind of addressing as a girl because she's younger than us, but she's such an amazing lady. And I thought that, oh my God, you don't really see these these days.
It's exactly what you said, is that fire.
Yeah.
The fire nowadays is it's tame, it's very low.
Yeah.
And you need those people, but that's why these people go to Le Manoir. Of course, because they have the drive, they want more for themselves. And this is exactly, it's a shame, she would definitely do good.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%. When she said to me, because when I asked her like something advice related, to someone starting, and she was like, if you peel carrots, try to challenge yourself. If you peel, let's say in 5 minutes, let's say, I don't know how many.
Put a timer.
Next time, peel more and try. Like with everything you do, kind of almost like take pride into each one of the steps you do and try to be better.
Yeah.
And someone will eventually notice that. It's no question about it.
People are noticing. That's the thing. People are noticing. One thing I said to the guys, if I'm not telling you anything, mean you're doing everything right. I come from time to time and I'll be like, well done. If someone is telling you all the time, you have to put this there, you're not doing right. That's how I learn, especially Steve. Never, oh yeah, well done. No. If he's not here, I'm doing okay. Just keep yourself there, do your job, and that's it. I agree. Yeah, it's true.
Have you ever thought about, after all this career, because I feel like naturally when you're passionate about cooking or hospitality in general, have you ever thought, be like, what, I love this. I want to take it a step further, kind of like thinking about getting my own place? Or is that in the back of your mind, for the future?
I wouldn't even say in the back. I would say in the front of my mind, you know? It has to be. More than anything is, if I eventually want to show to the world, this is V, you know,
What I'm made of,
this
you know,
is
what
who I am. It has to be mine, because you will always have, when you work for someone, you always have, you know,
follow certain guidelines.
of course
almost,
you have to, you know, people have the right to, because they are sponsoring. So I looked at it, you know, I looked at places even, you know, but has to be the right moment. I just don't want to open anything, you know, because of fame.
just for the sake of doing it.
No, I would just, when I do, I'll do it right.
Is this something that you have in mind? It's like almost like visualizing it, you know, it's like if I open a place, I'm not saying that it needs to be in terms of the way it looks. I'm talking here about a menu that you have in mind, or food that you would serve, or what the vibe, you know, should be. Do you have something in mind?
I have the picture, I have everything in my
wow.
mind, you know, so I have the name, you know.
Oh wow, you got the name.
So, you know,
that's really good.
I know exactly what I want, you know. I want something where, you know, I don't want a big place.
Yeah.
You know, I want,
so you want it manageable.
Exactly. A 20-30 cover place.
Nice.
Where, you know, people can come in and, you know, I'm eating here, you eating just around just there, and we can socialize, and we never really met, you know, because I want a place like
a warm place, almost like
warm
having,
place, you know, a green place, you know, where the food is not about the foams, is not about none of this. Is just about where I source my produce is the best produce I can have. You know, I give it to you there. All the work is on the preparation, and the presentation is pretty nice and simple. It's just nice food, you know.
Is it in terms of like, are you thinking about fine dining, or are you just thinking about like a very casual?
I want nothing to do with fine dining.
Okay.
Nothing, because I want people to be comfortable, you know. And I think sometimes when you start doing fine dining, you then, you know, the type of people you get has to be, you know, that it's just a single type of people. And my food is just for everybody, you know. It's literally, you come and it's just nice food. That's how I want it to be, you know, just a nice long table. Everybody's just there. I came to it alone and I made friends. So you're enjoying yourself, you had a nice food, you met a friend, you made a friend, and that's it. And I have an open kitchen where I can speak with you guys. That's it. That I'll be happy. You know,
that's amazing. That's really interesting. And you're right with you know, with fine dining, because although I worked for a bit, you know, in fine dining and Michelin and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel like I belong when I go for dinner. It just feels like I'm almost trying too hard to match the restaurant.
This is how I always felt eating.
Eating. I'm talking.
Always felt like that. You know,
although you appreciate the ingredients, you understand what's going on in the plate and everything else. You know, like what is wrong, what is right. It just feels like you don't belong. And that was me, at least.
Yeah, I always felt like that when I was on the other side. Even when it was a Bohemia, where on my day off, I'm like, okay, instead of going eating somewhere else, I just go there and have a surprise tasting. And at the time, actually, my wife she was my girlfriend. They was just front of house.
Yeah.
And she used to come and, oh, today we have this selection of bread. And like, just give me the bag. You know,
you knew already.
Just give me the bag. You know, I just want to eat because it's altogether nice. You know, I get a feel what we're actually doing, you know. But whenever I go to just a normal restaurant, it's just me, because I'm a normal kind of person, you know. I'm a normal kind of person, so I don't want all this, I need to sit a certain way. When I have to, you know. But I agree, I don't really, I prefer more casual.
Any other plans professionally that we should know?
No, now I really just want to carry on, you know, the Savoy, you know, making sure we don't fuck it up, to be honest, you know. Just
True.
keep everybody happy, obviously make money because it's really challenging nowadays.
It is, yeah, especially with so many businesses now closing. You can tell how,
it's
how
scary.
much pressure.
To be honest, every time that happens, it really, it's a wake-up call. You have to really be on your toes. So I just don't want to, I'm just 100% focused on Savoy now, because if it closes, there's a lot of people that lose their jobs, and that's, for me, it's not just about making my money, it's about making money for him. So everybody else that is with me has it, and so on, So I have that focus. I'm already thinking about menus for next year. We haven't even finished this year. So for now, I have no professional-wise, no plans outside Savoy, just 100% focusing there. There's a few people leaving, so I need to replace them. So
there's always a constant battle, isn't it?
I was quite fortunate. People stay with me for, good time. But some have to move. They have to move, and some you make them move. It's the truth.
No, it's true. Yeah. I mean, it's never really a middle ground. It's rarely ever that happens. People either get too good and they want to move on because. As probably we all did, right? Yeah. In our career, we want to move on to see different, to experience different challenges and so on, or they're not good enough, and they probably need to go lower a bar or a notch.
Because sometimes, I had a friend. He worked with me in a restaurant, then he worked in another one. In the second one, it wasn't working for him. And then he left, and he went to a restaurant where accolade-wise was exactly the same level, and he thrived. Because it depends who's working with you as well.
True.
It is.
There's so many variables that need to kind of like almost align. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah. And it can be, like the head chef is right, but then you have a colleague, that you work every now and then that just doesn't.
Listen, I worked in London. There's a restaurant I left. I said, I don't want to work here anymore because when the head chef was there, fantastic. I just do my job, fantastic. And then the sous chef was just a lazy person, like the worst. They're on his phone, do this, do that. I'm like, listen, do something. Fridges, everything was disorganized. So I'm not going to learn nothing with this guy. The head chef was never there because, he was either doing this TV program or doing that. So like, okay, I gotta go, and I left, that's it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, you got to do what in the end what was best for yourself, and thinking that if you're not the right fit, then it doesn't mean that's something wrong with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. Yeah, well, sometimes it is. When you see people trying to dry parsley in a salamandro in the oven, the problem is you. It's not me. It's not the place. It's you. Yeah, I agree.
Interesting. I never heard of that one before. It
happened, believe me.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Okay. A bit of a challenge for you now.
Okay.
3 restaurants that you like in Jersey, apart from Savoy, because obviously Savoy, it's your passion. Let's hear something else, that.
Right. So I would say I'll do in a different way. Obviously, if it's fine,
but it's got to be Jersey.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
If it's fine dining,
okay,
there is no place like Bohemia for me. It has to be
the only one with a star.
Yeah, even especially I think it's because I know exactly what Callum is doing, how he does it, so I know it's gonna be fantastic, right? If it's breakfast, for example, I obviously it has to be between lox and the good egg, So these two, especially the good egg in the summer.
I've been to the good egg. I think they got something good there.
They
got a good egg there.
Listen, they have the perfect egg there. I love the good egg. I used to,
really good value for money as well, right? For what they offer.
It's really nice. I used to go there all the time with my daughter.
Perfect location is good.
Summer, she used to love it. Good egg, her yogurt bowl, serving a coconut style bowl, granola, fantastic. Now I don't have time to have lunch. Obviously, never. But listen, one place I love, Kyoto. I was there, recently with Roberto. It's a really nice place. Really nice place.
And it must mean a lot coming from you where you guys already do sushi, right?
'cause,
I feel like that's quite powerful.
Because that's the thing for me. It's no competition, and I don't see myself as competition with Kyoto, because I actually see as learning from. Because I used to eat these foods at Soy when I first came to the island, so I know how good it is.
Yeah, it's great. It's
So
great.
so for me, it's no, there I would it's a really nice place to eat. I like a nice curry. It's nice. Okay, cafe spice. Okay,
Yeah.
and rigatoni is very simple. Very simple Italian food.
I like that you gave me different kind of like grades and different kind of like option depending on the situation. I like that.
Yeah, because this, my wife, I think that place closed because we used to go a lot. They used to have, it was like a Mexican place, Tex-Mex or Amex.
Airmex. So
Yeah.
my brother-in-law is head chef there. They didn't close, but I think what they did, I think they only kept, they refurbish it and they change it slightly, but exactly the same head chef is there.
'Cause he used to
they
go there a
do
lot.
food, I think, slightly different than they used to, but still the same thing, pretty much. Yeah, they still do it.
I used to go there a lot with my wife. Go there, have a nice recording, have a selection of that. But then the kids came and they just could not go because they're moving around. So I'm like, forget about it. you know?
It gets complicated, and you need to kind of start to think whenever, what are the kids' options? What the
I want to enjoy.
yeah.
I'm human. I have kids, but I'm still human, So I want to enjoy. When I go, I want to eat in peace,
No, I get you.
My kids don't stop. So yeah. So that would be my places,
Okay, nice. Now I like the options. So for people that want to find more about you or get in touch with you on social media, where are you most active?
I will be very honest. I'm not a social media guy. I have social media,
But you're more offline than online.
I'm more, if people want to talk to me, I will say, I will talk to people, because although I'm shy, once you talk to me, I'm relaxed.
You're doing great. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
We could go for hours. You really open up like quite well. So I feel like, it's probably the beginning. I mean, I feel like that sometimes, although I talk a lot, but at the beginning I'm like just tasting the
waters. Yeah, because if I don't know you, I'm a bit more okay. Because I just don't know what to say, But once I start talking to you, and if I get a feeling of you, I'll talk to you. I'll be there, Because I obviously I'm on Instagram. Facebook is, I would say, it's for older generation,
To be fair, it got at that point. Yeah. You're right. It got like into a slightly older generation. It still works for businesses. I'm not saying it all depends what you use it for.
Yeah.
But now in terms of like engaging with friends and stuff like that, probably not that much. I mean, now people kind of move on to Instagram, TikTok, and so on.
Yeah, don't have TikTok actually. Don't understand. Don't want to get there. But I think I speak more with my friends on Instagram now via Reels. It is a skill. You need to know which exactly reel you're gonna send to which friend. So it's not just about giving to anyone. So I realized that. So but Instagram is where I'm the most. I actually was saying I need to post more. Post more of what we do.
Your work, because
but
people to see.
Sometimes I think I'm just like, oh my god, and I don't really have the time. The honest truth is that I don't have the time. I'm always running around like a headless chicken.
We absolutely pleasure talking to you, and I really hope that whatever is left from these Christmas parties, they'll go well and in peace, and you'll enjoy your January time off.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah.
You're really waiting for that, are you?
I am, believe me.
Yeah, so hopefully it should be a good one. But till then, all the best, and I hope you go safe over this period.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you, mate.